Nothing but pain. Nothing but pain. I mean, what is left? What is left? Can this season just be over, man? Golly. Oh, man. Ravens flock. Ravens flock. Ravens flock. Ravens flock. I honestly don't know what else is left to say, man. This season is wow. This is a painful one, man. It's been a painful season. Any hope you had, it just seems like it's just dwindling away every single week. Just there's always some blow that just makes the situation worse. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Devin Duvernay has been placed on IR. He suffered a foot injury, or at least he was dealing with a foot injury during practice, and he actually ended up injuring that foot even more. So they fear that the foot injury he's dealing with is much more severe, or it could be the type of situation that takes him out for the rest of the season. So because of this, they put him on IR. That essentially ends his time in the regular season. Will he be back for the playoffs if the Ravens make it there? I have no clue, but he's done for the rest of the season, or at least for the rest of the regular season, and that's just how that is. So because of that, the Ravens decided they had to make a couple moves. They went out and they got Mike Thomas. Not that Michael Thomas. I know. It's not. A lot of people thought that. I didn't think that because I knew it would make sense, and I was like, "There's another Michael Thomas." But yeah, they picked up this guy. He was playing with the Bengals and they released him, so that's kind of how that goes. So you picked up a receiver that was released by the Cincinnati Bengals. Can you believe that? And then to make things even more interesting, they claimed Sammy Watkins from the waivers because he recently got released by the Green Bay Packers, and the Ravens went out and claimed him. So welcome back, Sammy Watkins. They let you walk in free agency to go get paid, and now you're right back here. I just don't know what to say. I really do not know what to say. Like, everything you had or any belief you had in this receiving core heading into the season, it's come crashing down and it is in shambles. Losing Devin Duvernay, that not only affects the pass game, even though he wasn't really contributing much. Why? Because they weren't utilizing him. But you're down one receiver. You're also down another guy that helps on the run game with his endless jet sweeps. But that's not his fault. That's Greg Roman's fault for making those calls. But hey, that was how they wanted to get him involved in the run game, so it is what it is. That's just how it goes. But you're losing a player that was helping on the pass in the run game, but he was really vital in special teams. You just lost your Pro Bowl returner, so there's that. Oh man, this is good. This is really good, man. This pain is just, oh boy, pain really stings, bro. It really stings. This is just great. I mean, I didn't want to have joy this season. I wanted to deal with the constant stresses. I didn't want to have a happy season. I wanted this to happen, right? I mean, we all wanted it. Who wants to have a happy season? Who wants to have a season where you don't have to worry about so many problems and issues with your football team? Who wants that? Why would you want that? I mean, come on. So, Devin Duvernay done for the rest of the regular season. In comes Michael Thomas or Mike Thomas, whatever the hell. His name's Mike Thomas. But like, in comes Mike Thomas and in comes Sammy Watkins. I guess Andy Isabella just fell off the face of the earth, or he just never existed in the first place because ever since they've signed this dude, we have not seen him once. Like, is he even on the team? Did we all just dream that the Ravens signed him, or what? What is this? Why did you bring a guy here that you had no plans to use? You're not utilizing him. He's not being seen in special teams. Why is he here? I don't understand this. But yeah, Devin Duvernay done for the rest of the regular season. So you lost Rashad Bateman to a foot injury that ended up taking them out for the rest of the season, and now it seems like you're going to lose Devin Duvernay to an injury that's going to take him out for the rest of the regular season. Maybe he comes back during the playoffs, but I don't see that happening because they think the foot injury is severe. So what do you do with that? What do you do with that? Seriously, what do you do with that? This is where we're at. This is where we're at. And it's just, man. This has been a troublesome season, man. This has been a real troublesome season for the Ravens. And, oh my God. I don't know what you do, man. I don't know what you do moving forward. This is just what you have to work with. I mean, this is just it. This is what you have to work with. This is what you have to work with. So when it comes down to the remaining healthy receivers for the Ravens, you have Deshaun Jackson, Demarcus Robinson, James Crochet, Sammy Watkins, who, by the way, was already on IR at some point this season. He was on IR for the Packers, but he's back here. You got Benjamin Victor from the practice squad, Shamar Bridges from the practice squad, Andy Isabella, who I'm not fully sure exists because we never see this guy, and now Mike Thomas that you picked up, who was recently released by the Cincinnati Bengals. That is your receiving core. Those are your receivers. If you're lucky, you'll still have most of those receivers, assuming the Ravens do head into the playoffs. That's what you have to deal with. And we're supposed to believe they're going to go on a Super Bowl run with that receiving core. Lamar's supposed to just make that work. Really. Fascinating how some of y'all really believe that's going to happen. Fascinating. You'll sit back and criticize the man, but you'll also see what he's working with and just ignore that. You will see him working with those receivers and say, go beat the Bills, go beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Do it with that receiving core. Because that just makes sense. He's just going to find the way to do that. This is the receiving core you have. I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. It's come down to this point, man. It's come down to this point. At some point, it's just like, you got to accept it's not your year, bro. It's just not your year. More pain for the Ravens. Even if you make the playoffs, you're probably going to be a one and done football team. If you're lucky to win a playoff game, let's say you match up with the Titans, because I believe that would be their matchup right now if they were to head into the playoffs. They're the 5th seed, the Titans the 4th seed. Let's say you head off to the Titans. The Titans are another team that's dealing with so many injuries, and they're crumbling. They're crumbling right now. We're not even sure the Titans can win their division because Jacksonville's on their heels. So it could be the Jaguars who end up making the playoffs. But let's assume Tennessee makes it in and Baltimore's their first opponent. Baltimore might be lucky enough to beat the Titans just because the Titans are more injury prone than us right now. They have more injuries and they're dealing with a terrible situation themselves. Their season is literally falling apart. Just similar to us, but it's because of injury for them. More injuries than we have. So if you're lucky to beat an injury-riddled Titans team, you'll have a date with either the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs in the second round. Most likely. So if that's what you're dealing with in the divisional round, how far do you really think you're going to go? That's a one and you're done. You're just done. You'll go to the divisional round and you'll lose to one of those two teams because you're just not going to have enough firepower. And I don't know what to tell you. Does Lamar really want to come back to this? Like, think about that. If you're Lamar Jackson, do you really want to come back to this? I don't know, man. I'm just saying. You deal with. I'm trying to find the words to just to express my feelings right now, and I'm trying to find a positive way to spin this, but there's no positive way to spin this. There's nothing here to say. It's just nothing but pain for the Ravens. Nothing but pain for the Ravens. Looking at this receiving core and looking at the offensive scheme you have in the passing game, what hope can anybody have? Like, seriously, what hope? Even if Lamar Jackson was to come back, what hope? We know the man is dealing with a PCL injury. Those take time to heal. If he comes back healthy, what is he expected to do with this receiving core? Not a damn thing. So how much hope can you actually have? At some point, a franchise has to realize that they just don't have it. Like, just take a serious look at yourself. How blind do you have to be to ignore the issues around you? This team is not going anywhere. Injuries are starting to pile up. The coaching staff has been suspect the entire season. People want Greg Roman castrated out of both. They want him gone. They want him put on a plane and sent to the most far away place you could ever think. They don't want Greg Roman to step foot in Baltimore for the rest of his life. That's how bad it is. People are calling for Harbaugh's job. Apparently, people are going on the facility and posting fire Greg Roman papers there. And all of a sudden, it's accumulated to what we're dealing with here. And yes, if you look at the positives, you're a 9-5 football team. And honestly, there's not much you really need to do with these remaining 3 games. If you win one of these games, you're pretty much guaranteed to make the playoffs. You have the tiebreaker over the Jets and the Patriots because you beat them early on in the season. So because of that tiebreaker, Baltimore is damn near guaranteed to make the playoffs. So you're a 9-5 team that's damn near guaranteed to make the playoffs, and you still have a chance to compete for the division. Probably will come down to the wire week 18 at Cincinnati for the division. So there are some bright spots here. But when you look at the mess that's surrounding the Ravens, how much hope can a fan really have in this team? How much hope can you have that they could somehow pull this off? I don't know. But we're just going to have to watch. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, if Lamar comes back, that's his receiving core, assuming none of those guys get injured. Even though Sammy Watkins has an injury history and has already been on IR this season, even though Deshaun Jackson has an injury history as well, you just got to hope you find a way to make it work with these guys. Because if you can't, there's nothing else to tell you. But yeah, nothing but pain for the Ravens. Rest up, Devin Duvernay. If we do not see you in the playoffs, we'll see you next season. It's unfortunate, but that's just how the situation is. More pain for the Ravens. With that being said, that is all I've got, man, and I'm out of here. Peace.